We are officially already through 3 weeks of college football, and that means that it is week number 4 of the college football season. And this college football week has some amazing games on the slate. But arguably the best game of college football week number 4 is the game between the Oregon Ducks and the Colorado Buffaloes. This is a huge Pac-12 conference game, and we will see if the Colorado Buffaloes are really legit as they face off against one of the best teams in the country in the Oregon Ducks. So let's get into breaking down this game. So first, let's get into breaking down each of these teams' first 3 games of the season. Starting off with the Colorado Buffaloes, they are currently 3-0. In their very first game of the season, they faced off against the TCU Horned Frogs, and they were huge underdogs in this game. However, no one predicted what would happen, as the Colorado Buffaloes would actually defeat the TCU Horned Frogs, and their offense looked electric. They would knock off TCU 45-42, and this just gave them the most momentum heading into their week number 2 game against Nebraska. And in this Nebraska game, it was actually pretty close in the first half. However, Colorado would pull away in the second half as Shedeur Sanders looked amazing, as he would lead Colorado to a 36-14 victory over Nebraska. And we all know about the Colorado versus Colorado State game, and that was Colorado's week 3 matchup, as they would defeat Colorado State 43-35 in double overtime in a bloodbath of a game. So now let's discuss Oregon's first 3 games of the season. In the Oregon Ducks' first game of the year, they faced off against Portland State, and they looked absolutely amazing in this game, as the offense scored 81 points and they would beat Portland State 81-7. However, in week number 2, this was not the same, as Oregon faced off against Texas Tech. The offense and the defense in this game played down, as Oregon would only end up defeating Texas Tech 38-30. However, in week number 3, they would bounce back, as they would pick up a huge victory over Hawaii, as the offense looked amazing, as they would score 55 points and would beat Hawaii 55-10. So both of these teams are 3-0 heading into their matchup in week number 4, as number 19 Colorado will go on the road to face off against number 10 Oregon. But we must next look at each team individually, starting with the Colorado Buffaloes. This team has a high-power offense led by their star quarterback Shedeur Sanders, which is Deion Sanders' son. However, their defense is very awful. Shedeur Sanders is currently on track to win the Heisman Trophy this year, as this season in just 3 games he's thrown for 1,251 yards, with a 78% completion percentage, 10 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. However, as we all know, the Colorado Buffaloes will be without their star wide receiver and Travis Hunter, as he took a late hit in the game against Colorado State and it will be out for the game. So Shedeur will have to look towards other receivers in this game against the Oregon Ducks. And also, Colorado's defense absolutely sucks. They allowed last week a bad Colorado State offense to score 35 points on them, and they also allowed TCU to put up 42 points on them. And this Oregon offense is just too good for how bad that Colorado defense is. So next, let's take a look at that Oregon offense. They are also led by a potential Heisman winning quarterback in Bo Nix. This season, he has thrown for 893 yards and 8 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in their first 3 games of the season. And they have an emerging running back in Irving, who has had 27 carries for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns in their first 3 games. The Oregon rushing attack is really what is stealing the show in this game, as the Colorado defense cannot stop the rushing attacks of many teams they played this year, and Oregon is averaging 229 rushing yards a game. Also, Oregon is firing on all cylinders right now, and they have all their players healthy, while Colorado is missing their star player in Travis Hunter. And to go along with this, Oregon has a much better defense than the Colorado Buffaloes, as they are allowing just 285 yards a game compared to Colorado's 460. And Oregon is only allowing 158 passing yards a game, so we will see how Shedeur Sanders can play against this loaded Oregon defense. And lastly, this game will be played in Eugene, Oregon at the Oregon Ducks Stadium, located in Autzen Stadium. And ESPN has Oregon projected to win this game at a 93.8%. And I agree with ESPN on this one. I think that the Oregon Ducks will pull out the victory against the Colorado Buffaloes just due to the inexperience of that Colorado team. And I think that this will be a very high-scoring game with little defense, as I think that Oregon will end up defeating the Colorado Buffaloes 52-27. The final score in this game will be 52-27 in favor of the Oregon Ducks.